pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Audience introductions, we'll go ahead and skip since
Anybody online there?
here.
Hello, friends.
No, Jackie, normal.
Okay. Approval of agenda. Move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
We just have those items for the resignations.
We can just mention those when we get.
Yeah, we just have one extra one, I should say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Delegation of visitors, we will also skip. So number 4, items for information for the board, superintendent report.
Sure, so again, we try not to steal each other's thunder too much here, but we.
Does that mean you're going to anyway?
No.
Sorry, there's such an overlap.
He just
there.
prefaces his report with
I
saying
do,
that.
that way when I steal Chrissy stuff, I don't feel too bad, but
It just makes mention.
gosh darn, what page is it again?
4.
Page 4.
4. Usually it's later. All right, so anyway, just talking about some of the items that are coming up. She'll talk about survival swim and outdoor school, obviously, but one of the things we want to focus on again was, just the other day, we had 2 high school kids that dressed up like Cat in the Hat. We bought a new outfit this year. We thought we had lost the original one. That was very dated, but we were able, our librarian was able to find it, so we still have a nice upgraded one, but those students just pitched in and helped it out because we needed kids to help serve cake, and they just did that because the kids enjoy. Sure, they're willing to. I don't know if they enjoy it, but they're willing to
I
pitch in
think
and
they
help out,
enjoyed it.
and I think they do too. And same with the outdoor school and the survival swim. So we really rely on our high school students to help out, and again, whether it's Harvest Carnival or Field Day, those are important things for those kids that are younger. And I think it's important for our high school kids too, to be able to give back to their community one way or another, whether that was getting a semi truck full of stuff like we used to with Hutch when we had the, tornado victims back in the day, or, just their every year participation in these events. I really think it's important for them to be able to do that. So, as we're kind of trying to find those volunteers for things, we always have students step up and help out. So I just wanted to say thank you to them. And then spring break also means statewide assessments. Enough said. I know you can't really make that sound much better, but Julia Wilson has been the one that is doing the statewide assessment and getting our staff trained. She already did 2 trainings and has 1 more coming up next Wednesday on the 20th. That one sounds like there's going to be some prizes at that one, so she's trying to bribe them a little bit, but it's around the corner and it's coming up, and hopefully we knock it out of the park. And then our high school food science class, I hope you got a chance to read this one. Oregon FFA purchased 350 bottles of that rub from our group. That's really great. They're doing the labels. They ran into a little bit of a deal where when they did the economies of scale with that and making it from a smaller batch to a large batch, all of a sudden it looked different and it tasted different. And they went by cups and teaspoons, et cetera, but then they're like, maybe we should have gone by weight. So then they have one that was sweeter and one that was spicier. And so a couple of us were taste testing that. And, we had talked about, on the label was already going to say so sweet, so spicy. So on the bottom, we just said, well, why don't we look at writing sweet on one and spicy on the other in like a different, different color font. So I think they're doing something like that. But, thank you to Christina Griffin also for, reaching out to us and seeing if we wanted to do that. So pretty great that we have that connection there, and that the PPC sounds like they want to buy some. We're going to buy some so we can give to people that come and visit our school or do something nice. Just a little thank you that has the Perrydale label on it. We think that's pretty cool. So good opportunity for them. And thank you to Ms. Hanson for making this opportunity for our kids like that. We also had somebody from NASA come out today, engineer. We had engineering month basically, so we had a person come out today for that. Obviously, that works out well for our students that are traveling in about a month or less than a month now to go down to Texas and do that part too. So played out really well. That was for all of our high schoolers from, from 9 to 10 this morning. So it was really good. And then we have a good mix of high school students doing the science Olympiad. It's actually 30 students total, 15 from both middle school and high school, and that's coming up March 16th. So this coming week. So, and up at University of Portland. Is your son doing that? I saw you nod. So
He is.
all right,
Thank
there
you,
you go.
Mr. Ferguson, for recruiting him.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then lastly, our boys basketball team went down to Plymouth Falls and ended up Plymouth Falls area and dropping one to Lost River, who ended up taking 4th place. Unfortunately, it was the same team that ended our football season. So that part stinks, but they're good athletes and they did really well. And our boys had a good season. And no shame in that, but
They're going to
kind
2A.
of stinks. They're 1 game short.
They're moving up to 2A next year too.
Lost your heart.
I'm not bitter.
You done?
done.
Go ahead. You know, the floor. Go ahead.
And they did cool stuff before they came too.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
college game
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff that I found out later.
Yeah, Dan Fast hooked us up with that, and
Of course, that's not-
we have our track teams going back down there for their big meet that they have at Mazama. And they're gonna be down there, and they're gonna do a college visitation at OIT, which has a lot of health science careers. So, and not just your normal kind of doctor, nurse stuff, but a lot of radiology things that don't take as long, but pay really well. For students that maybe want to get in the medical career, but don't want to spend 8 years of their life doing it. So those would be some really good opportunities.
Isn't it like placing a nuclear x-ray tech degree in the States?
Med, ultrasound, a lot of my wife's coworkers went there.
I think Shauna Starr graduated from there.
She may have with her new med stuff.
Yeah.
So those are really good things, and OIT has a satellite campus in Wilsonville as well. So that's more of on the engineering side.
They have a really good softball team.
Yeah. So that's gonna be great for them to be able to go back down there, and hopefully our track team is able to compete well there and have a good time and go ahead and go to OIT and get a visitation too. So I think that's it. This coming weekend. So they're at Dallas this Friday, and then followed up by next weekend on Thursday, they have a Twilight in McMinnville. And that's when state convention starts with FFA too. So we have a couple athletes who are gonna be doing track, and then they're gonna be going over to FFA as well. So it's great. Good stuff.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
I'll move to elementary middle school report.
Last week was a busy week. As Dan touched on, we had Dr. Seuss birthday activities last week, and that was put on by Tracy Pea and, of course, our elementary teachers. A few of us served cake, and that was K to 12. And, of course, we had some left over, and the high schoolers don't disappoint. They come in and get that extra cake.
You can put in the saffron.
Yes, true fact. We had our makeup day for Ag Olympics last Thursday, and there were some changes, some adjustments made to that, and they were really great. Just some subtle changes, but they helped the competitions move a little bit faster, maybe involve kids in different ways, and that was fun to watch. We've just finished up Joan Broke for Heart in our PE classes. And of course, today started Survival Swim. We're able to be going to the Cross Center. It's a distance, but they've got a great program there, great facilities. And so we've just really enjoyed being able to go to the Cross Center and hope to continue doing that for quite a while. This coming, Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, we have some students who will be entering work into the Amity Daffodil Festival through our art program. So approximately 120 probably elementary students, and then sounds like we've got some middle school and high school students that don't formally take art, but have been able to complete some art projects within some other classes to enter into the festival. So that should be some fun. Lion King practices have started, and it's quite fun watching some of the younger kids join in on such a big production. Of course, they're starting a lot with the older kids, but some of the younger kids have started joining in on some of those practices. We are planning for our 6th grade outdoor school and our 8th grade trip. I just can't believe it's that time of year, but it's just about here. So So that's it.
Thank you very much.
I know.
Yeah, we'll move to SPED report. Karen.
All right, we've got 34 students on IEPs, and I left out a word there. Our evaluation team has been busy. We could not do this without our partnership with Dallas. And we have a new special education assistant, Kylie, who will be starting just after spring break. She had a few things to finish up with a previous job. And our school nurse has been great. He has fit right in and also brought us super yummy donuts last time he was here. So
Very nice.
we always,
Marion Berry.
I missed that.
Wow.
Do you remember my story about?
Oh, I wasn't here.
That's,
I was at a conference.
long, long
Oh,
time
yeah,
ago, but- Yeah, what was the name of that donut place?
Joe Hook on
Highly
Market.
recommend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very tasty. We got you to try a donut.
We have a new
right?
school nurse.
Yeah, the other one was a temporary, which the ESD didn't really let us know
topping was
that.
good.
We
The
didn't
donut
know
was
really until this nurse let us know. And we feel very fortunate that we have this nurse. This nurse has been spot on. I mean, I'm getting a lot of nods here, but, yeah. So we'll take this. Hopefully it's a last, at least for the year, but we'll see.
He's got a large knowledge base. So
Very much so.
really helpful.
So
Moved up
what's
very
our
from
partnership with Dallas for doing evals for IEPs?
We contract with them, a school psychologist. Rather than go through the ESD, we contract with Dallas School District.
Okay.
So it makes it, they're much more available, responsive. We have a great relationship and have been doing that for, what, 4 or 5 years?
Really?
Yeah,
We're
just pay
using
them
our
instead of
consortium
ESD.
dollars. We're not, huh?
Not for that, because there's just such a shortage on those that it's kind of like speech language pathologists. We've been able to have a decent one now, but it's so up and down. Those SLPs and the school psychs are, I mean, you could speak to it better than I
Oh,
can.
yeah.
It's,
Is Autumn still?
Uh-huh.
so this costs us not very much money overall compared with, you know,
Are we using all of our consortium dollars?
Yeah. Just in different spots, but, yeah. Anything else?
How much do we pay Dallas for that? I've never seen that on our bills. Have you guys?
Well, I knew about it. I thought it was, I don't remember what it was under.
We can
It's
get,
on
we'll
there.
get a printout for you, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll get
There
a
might even
printout.
be one in this
Yeah, I'd
one.
like to
I
know what
just
we're
did one.
spending.
Sure.
I had,
Might be on the next one. It's
I
I don't even
493.
remember seeing that in the budget. We do that for 5 years?
Well, the first time we did, so I think my first year we had a school psychologist from Willamette ESD, and then we started contracting with Dallas. They had a retired Sale Kaiser school psychologist, Lowell. I think that
Yeah.
contract was brought to the board, and
Right, and then that after Lowell, we went back to BSD, no?
Just, it's like a per, not a per diem, but
it's
per
almost per
test.
hour. Yeah,
Per hour.
like yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
seen, we don't have a contract.
We don't, it's not a contract, like we don't.
They
have
just,
a-
yeah, they
just
bill us.
Per hour. So it's just hour billing.
I've never seen the bill.
I know it's in the regular
Mhm.
check stuff, but like I said, we'll get you a printout, we'll send it to you, to all of you.
Okay. Let's move to facilities.
Can we get a list of what we're spending, what we're using our consortium dollars for then?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
obviously I'm not clear on that.
Sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, for the record, do you want to share the state of our sign while we're,
Sure. So our sign that we've had for about 20 years fell down over the weekend when we had a lot of wind, high winds. And as a result, we'll look at some different options and try to get, a few companies with a few different options each and try to figure out if that's going to be sitting a little bit lower in a different place, same place, higher up, or maybe even on the side of the building. So we'll be looking at, and, for being a wood sign, it lasted all right. I think we got pretty good use out of it over 20 years, but it's just time to get a new sign, so,
Right, it's more like 25.
yeah, maybe.
Anything else about facilities or questions or?
Yes, I have a list.
Yes. Fire away.
Okay, so, it talked about that many areas are still heavily saturated with groundwater, and I wanted to know, is there anything that we need to budget or plan as a district? Like, do we need to put in some drainage? Do we need to redo drains? What areas are that heavy with saturation?
The ones that I see is the one out in front of my office mostly.
Right.
I was
But
wondering the
is there
same
stuff out
thing.
there?
I don't see much out there. I mean, over by the chicken coop area, there's always been a bad
Right.
spot there. I don't see the same thing as a lot of areas with heavily saturated. Right now, it's been raining quite a bit. And I actually was walking out earlier today looking for that. And I have not seen much out there, but again, I didn't go back. There's not much out there by the
Okay.
modulars. There's not anything on the playground. And so I'm not sure what the other areas may be.
Okay,
I know definitely by the new kitchen area, go look out there, there's no water right now.
yeah.
Now, we still had some down in the basement, but not nearly that we have before, because we're now hooked into that drain.
Okay,
And then if you go look out at the playground, if you look at that pipe, on West Prairie Dale Road, it's pouring out water
Pouring water.
all the time. I mean, it's big rate. So that one's working out well. So it may be in between the buildings as well, where we have the septic system.
I went and peeked at that, that looks okay too.
Okay, yeah, that was our soft spot. We were a little worried about this year as it's still solidified, but we knew that it'd be a little soft. But, yeah, if you peeked in there.
I didn't know, I just didn't know if it was like, I didn't know if we needed to be doing some more drain work this spring and summer to get ready for heavy rain next year.
Well, one thing with, not to my knowledge, but I'll ask Troy, what
Okay.
he's talking about with that. I do know that area. And I was even looking at, do we, drop a pipe down there and put it, something on top. And if we do anything, we gotta talk with the church and, really it's theirs. So gotta be careful on that, but that would be the only thing.
Okay.
It does feel like it's a little bit more there now than I remember previously, but it doesn't really impact student use really.
I wasn't-
I think it's more with mowing, because he has it right
Right,
mowing
mowing.
and out
Oh,
there.
the mowing
and
part,
it's-
And I was
Well,
just
like center
wondering,
field and
coming in-
baseball field, it's always bad.
when I
Well,
was-
yeah, but just that whole, I mean, you can see where, he has to really time when he goes, because it leaves tracks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's not much we can do about that, but if
No.
there's standing water, I wanted to make sure that we were taking care of that through track and for softball, baseball use, if we needed to. I mean,
Troy may want to tile the whole thing, so.
I get that, I'm married to somebody just like Troy.
Yeah,
So tightening the bolts and fasteners, is that normal, and isn't the contractor, I don't remember specific asking about this, aren't they supposed to come back at a certain point in time and check all those for us?
and they will, you're talking about the playground
Yes,
stuff, yeah. So Martha was here the other day, she stopped by to check in on us, and they've been really responsive, saying, we'll come out and do it. Now, they did have 2 crew members that got COVID when they were gonna come out one day. Troy ended up being able to take care of it. It was the saucer one that was the biggest culprit, and then some of the other spots were loose. Troy was able to tighten those, but they will, Stephanie said, hey, we'll come out and do it.
Okay.
Just give us,
I just know
Give
that
us
was
a
by
couple
the
days.
contract,
yeah.
so I wanted to make sure they were coming in and doing.
I
that.
feel like they really haven't had to come up, because Troy's been able to take care of most of those.
Right.
But
And to be fair, the tire swings get a lot of use. So that's really where we're kind of seeing some of that need. And it
having
sounds
the
like
saucer, right, those two.
Yeah,
More so than the regular swings.
Yeah.
As far as the issue.
Well, maybe as the weather turns nicer, we can have the contractors come out, just so that we utilize what we've paid for.
Absolutely.
And what about the loose, things on the ground,
The fill.
thing? Yeah.
So the fill will be taken care of once we do that we're hoping for June. That's what we're
Has to be
hoping for.
dry.
Dry and warm. And the idea is also July 1st. Whatever we're not using in our budget now, and, we have a new budget year too, but, whatever it's gonna be dry and all that. And the good thing for us is that we're able to have that loose fill and people are able to use it. I mean,
Yeah.
Silverton ended up doing the same thing. When Martha was here the other day, I asked her how it was going in Silverton as well. And she was taking a lot of pictures, and she said, I really love, and it's you guys this, I really love the color scheme on this. And she said she's gonna send it to the corporate to say, you guys really need to consider this is a color scheme. I really think this is pretty sharp. And then she said that this is a really good design.
Can't wait till the fills in with the colors.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
that's
She
Even if
just
I
said-
know if they're gonna use us for advertisement.
Yeah,
exactly.
Alright.
So, but it was nice to see her, but yes, I think they'll be very responsive on that, and when they can come out here and do some stuff, especially if we have a list of, a small list, but it's a list of some things for them that they can work on, as long as we give them a few days.
We're entering budget season and Troy constantly has replaced the high school carpet, the hallways and stuff. Is that a real possibility? Is that something we want to look at during this budget cycle?
Yeah, I
Is
think,
it needed?
I get what he's saying. I think our bigger needs right now, it may be two things. One, a sign, depending on what we're looking at for that. And two, we need a new minibus. And, you know, it's, to put in perspective, I was saying earlier, Midco actually called on Friday, the new boss there, and said, our regional guy said, we're paying for your issues on your bus, which is a solenoid and O2 sensor, and I can't remember the third one. It wasn't brakes or anything, but, with service fees and parts and all that, I'm guessing it's a couple thousand or 3,000 total for everything. And they didn't charge it. They're not charging us at all because they need us to keep our bus running because they don't have enough buses. Like they're trying to get 9 minibuses, ordered 2 of them for Amity. They had to steal one from Amity already in Dallas because they had an issue on theirs. So they're finding a new one, and those are about 110,000. A used one that's like a 2018, which isn't that bad. Those usually don't have a lot of life on them. Those are probably going to start at 55. So, we're going to need a minibus because ours sunsets on December 31st of this.
That they extended it out another year.
What's that?
I thought they extended that out.
If they did, I would be extremely happy. So
I
I'll
thought,
double
I
check.
thought I heard that they did, and maybe it's because nobody can get buses.
I will check because I did email Brock Ditus, I think is his name, from ODE, is in charge of pupil transportation. And then the other guy is partner there said, correct, we're still looking at the 31st of this year, but that was 6 weeks ago or something. So maybe
I
they
thought I heard
just
that they extended it
if they
out.
extended, that'd be great. So that would be my worry is what all do we still have? As far as that, what does a bus look like? And I have reached out to 2 companies so far to get some thoughts on pricing, but again, the hard part's newer, and newer is a lot more expensive, and, I think if you're using it every single day for transportation, we just want reliable buses that are gonna be good. This bus, same thing with the sign, that's an 04 bus. So very rarely do you get 20 years out of a minibus, and we've been able to do that, so.
So that segues into the next one. I just wanted to know about, we're constantly talking about upgrade to a larger tractor, but shouldn't we get a bus first? So that answers that. Softball dugouts, is that something we're putting money in? Is the softball team doing fundraising?
So-
Could that be a community project? that
So we have a
softball
high
team
school softball
organizes?
team and will for a while.
Right,
We don't have enough for middle school softball, as we talked about. So that is something that, I'll talk with G a little bit more, but, that's some stuff, just like with Marty or your dad or whoever else, we've been able to, pay for materials, but then do the work.
that's kind of what I was
That's-
wondering, if we could do a community project. I mean, I'd be willing to help with that, rather than us putting a bunch of money into
Bring
dugouts.
Marty out of retirement for that one too.
That's a great plan.
He may decline on that, so.
The other thing is possible Pirate Pride or Home of the Pirate logo mural on building exterior. Is that like just a pipe dream, or is that something we're talking about? Who wants to put a mural somewhere?
Troy,
Okay,
Is he talking about maybe the backside of the patient?
on the backside of the gym.
Oh,
So we have talked about that in years past. I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice, but again, are you painting that? Are you trying to do vinyl with that? Or, there's other ways you can go. I mean, I think of North Powder a lot, like when you're going over to Baker and you see that on Powder Valley's high school, they have that on the gym and, home of the, or the Badgers, Badgers. And then they have like the years they've won stuff, that's pretty cool to see that. And other schools do the same, or Sheridan has Home of the Spartans on the side of their gym.
Mhm.
It does look good. I mean, over time, you're gonna have to repaint it, right? So that's the thing that you have to look at is,
I was just gonna say.
especially the more couple colors fade pretty well with sun, and red and blue are some of those colors that fade quite a bit. So what is that red gonna look like? I'm assuming you're gonna use red, or, I know,
Orange.
yeah, or
Yeah.
even black will fade, and, you know, so
Pink and gray.
what's that?
Like colors.
Yeah, pink and gray will be the useful
Yeah.
colors, yeah.
Okay.
So that would be the concern. Again, I love Troy's spirit, and, you know, he's always got cardinal on, or
Yeah.
more maroon sometimes, but you know, even his shoes, he buys shoes that are paired up colors. So I do love that about the guy, and you know, I know he and I have talked about that before, but again, what does it look like down the road? How long is that gonna last would be the concern.
What about the asphalt parking lot between maintenance
So
shed and
that's the
lodging?
other thing. I'm glad you said that. So that's the one that we have to do this year. You and I spoke about that,
Yes.
you know, this summer. We have to make sure that we put that in the budget. So that'll be one of the items that we,
We're gonna budget for it. That was my question. No,
all
all
the asphalt.
Oh, back
Some of them has spots. There's two main areas right here, and then, well, there's more than two, but two main ones. That one over there, and then as you're headed out of the parking lot, you'll see one as you're driving over it. Those two areas need a lot of attention, so.
Okay.
Good.
Yep, and then my last thing was reader sign, so we've covered it all.
Good.
Okay. We'll move to 4B, spotlight on education.
I believe that's me today. I'd like to recognize Tracy Paya. She's our reading intervention teacher. She moved from first grade last year, or I'm sorry, this year. And she's really done a lot of work to relook at our reading intervention program, see how we can be creative on meeting more students' needs. And she's also looked a lot at our assessment practices and our identification practices. She's been helping support within the classroom as well. And she's been able to come to me probably every other week or so with somebody that has been in our intervention program for several years and maybe was kind of stagnant after COVID lost time, and they have made great gains. So we're starting to really reap some of those benefits, and it's been really great. So I wanted to make sure to recognize her and all of her hard work. Any questions?
She does a lot, we appreciate her.
She does a lot.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, move to new hires and resignations.
Yeah, so our first one for new hire is Alice. Alice comes to us, she has about 7 years' experience in the McMinnville School District, as I sent you in that email earlier today. So she did custodial maintenance work there at McMinnville at a few different schools, was actually a trainer for them, and then ended up going to Cascade Steel Mill and was doing scales and doing utility stuff, doing maintenance stuff there. And then wanted to get back in the school system and had applied. I think Troy probably had a connection there too that helped out because he had been there previously in McMinnville. And so she interviewed and had quite a bit of experience, and we're hoping this is a lasting one. She replaces, well, we had to get a temp from EDGE staff because we couldn't find somebody. We had it open for quite a while, and then she applied, and we were able to interview her a couple of weeks ago. We're optimistic that this is gonna work out. So she's been here every day so far, so we'll take that. And she's coming in at 12:30. So Troy has them working 4/10s because of the size of the school increasing. And with Jaime and the new staff with Alice, he feels like this is working, and Jaime feels it's working to do the 4/10s. That's been helpful. And now that she's doing 12:30, she helps clean up after lunch, which Troy was doing before. So that frees him up to do some other stuff as well, like mowing last week. Noah excited being able to help do some of that stuff at times when he has to. So anyway, we're excited about the experience that she has and not having to have a ton of guidance on that. Just, your typical kind of training for the first month or so and go from there. And then the next one, Aaron already hit on it, but Kylie starting for us right after spring break. We had to say goodbye to her current employee and our employer, and wanted to make sure that she did right by them. And I don't know, Aaron, if you want to add anything. You already talked about it in your SPED report. And then unfortunately, we have two resignations. April Shore is one of them. she shared with the staff last week after she came and talked with me. And April wore a lot of hats here for a lot of years, and 14 years, and just thankful for her time here and what she's done, and really ran with this high school success coordinator position and trying to do things that we weren't able to do before. And she's really done a lot with trying to get our students, high school students, to be able to see there's other opportunities out there that are both more of a hands-on, trade school and 2-year degree type stuff, and also still service those that want to do a 4-year degree. I kind of think of the variety of your kids in your family, right? And just who benefits more from, like, we had 2 people from Knife River in here, Riverbend, sorry, it's Riverbend, because one of them was related to you. But we had the Riverbend in here. Yeah. So he did some mock interviews with us. So we did mock interviews this year, just a couple weeks ago, and then we did them last year. She really has helped spearhead those types of activities in conjunction with the ESD. They've really helped provide us with some people, like the person from NASA today was a good connection through the ESD, and she really ran with this. She's done a really good job for us. So we'll be sad to see her go, but I don't think I'm saying anything too confidential. She was hoping to get at least 5 years once she had her diagnosis, and she's had 10. So I think she feels pretty good about what she's been able to do, but her health is a concern for her, and even going part-time this year was still a little bit much. So we thank her for everything she's done, and be tough. So we'll be looking at what that looks like, and that position. So community engagement, Falls City actually has a pretty good position that they do a lot of stuff that April does, but then also they have like somebody really in charge of community engagement. And with the integrated guidance and the requirements for that, it's kind of an ongoing, continuous thing now, where you're constantly having to do it even more so than you try to already. And so adding the piece in that may be helpful too, especially if we go back towards a full-time person. And then what does that look like? Does it really need to be a certified? Does it not need to be a certified? We had it as a certified because we thought April would do a good job, but maybe we need to look at what are that requirements there. It may not need to be that. So we'll see what that looks like. That's a lot to weigh. We just found out
Certified
last
though
week.
gives you flexibility for filling in.
It does potentially, yes. We get that too. So, it's just something we're gonna have to weigh and see where we are. I think we'll have to have a little further discussion on it on our end after we give it some thought. But we don't want to wait too long on posting it, but at the same time, we want to make sure it's what we're really thinking. So I'll probably reach out to you all as an email and just say this is what we're thinking, because it is kind of an oddball position. It's not like your typical classified or certified or even confidential. It's just a unique position. So probably reach out to y'all.
Guidance counselor slash bringing people
On
Yeah,
steroids.
kind of it is, yeah.
engagement.
Yeah. That's kind of what it is. So
Yeah.
Falls City actually sent me their job announcement from last year. Somebody else had told me about that. The person who helped us with our integrated guidance said that they did a pretty good announcement last year with that position. So I had asked one of our office staff there, Margaret, to get that the posting that they did last year from Falls City, what that looks like, and then talk with Mike and Corey over there on how that's going. And this is going really well. So we'll see. And then the one that we got last week on Thursday, that I had said was Amy Montefiore, our CTU person for this year, is going to be leaving. She is going to be maybe possibly headed back closer to home. I'm not sure yet. She's originally from California and then went to Oregon State. I don't know if that she's going to be a little closer to work. She still lives in Corvallis. She's going to be a little closer there. Or she may also try to go back to California possibly as well. We don't know yet. So
Okay,
that's it.
all right. Thank you. Let's move to item 6, consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
And it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Items for board action, physical education contract.
Yeah, and like I said earlier in the email, it really is an extension of the physical education, position. If we wanted to continue to do that, Chris Goodrich had expressed some interest in it earlier this winter, and I said that March, I'd probably bring it to the board to see if that's something that we wanted to do. As a school, I think that Chris does bring some unique skills with the K through 12 PE. That's a rare breed nowadays at school. And same with K through 12 music is another type of deal that's really hard to fill. We tried to get some student teachers for music 2 years in a row through Pacific, and we couldn't get anybody. I mean, nobody. We did like little mock interviews with them and everything.
They chuckled, but some of that was a distance.
Yeah, some of it was,
Yeah.
but they're like K through 12 music. I'm gonna go do, band for middle school or high school, or I wanna do choir, and that's what we're running on, so.
I'm not gonna lie, I was worried that you had this in there that we were losing Chris and we had to replace him.
Oh,
No, and I keep thinking this is the last year, for the last couple of years, right? But he does bring that skill set in, and also the AD stuff. He's able to still teach and do the AD separate. And that's not something that you can easily do. So for him to be able to do that and do it in between, that's worked out really well. So I would recommend that we do look at extending him like we did this year, I should say. He has said, once again, hey, this is kind of it, but we'll see. But that's where we are right now. So that would be my recommendation, but I would like to
Do
see.
you need a motion?
I didn't know if there's any questions. Last year, you folks voted on it, that you would vote to extend it. And then he would just make the same as where he would be in the salary schedule, plus his AD stipend that we did this last 2 years. So
Well,
For
I'll make,
24-25.
for 24, 25, just 1 year.
I'll make a motion to extend the physical education contract for 24-25 school year.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed unanimously. Move to resolution 24-3 to extend license contracts.
So as you know, and part of the reason why we're doing this today, meeting, is that by the 15th every year, we have to make sure that we look at doing this resolution to extend the contracts for certified staff. So these folks are granted the contract status for 24-25 and 25-26. So it goes 2 years once you're in the contract status. So you can see Morgan Crawford, Dean Dieters, Savannah Enns, Brock Ferguson, Brad Ford, Alex Graber, McKenna, Hanson Johnson, Brittany Matthews, Misty Matthews, Tracy Paya, Tyler Richards, and Julia Wilson. We did not have Chris Cooper down there for 2 of the ones he's retired, but 2 didn't know for this where the board would want to go. So that's would be the contract status. The third year probationary status would be Mindy Arthur, Caitlin Hutchinson, Emma Jimenez, sorry, she says it that way, Ellie Solom, and Jill Wood. And then the second year probationary status, our first grade teacher, Chandler Tippertone, and Cheyenne Long. We don't have any for the first year.
I move to approve resolution to extend certified contracts 24-03.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Nothing, she is.
We're okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously, and we'll move to resolution 24-4 library grant.
Brian, did you second that last one?
No.
Oh, Jenny did.
So library grant, this was in good conjunction with our literacy grant too. We were able to count some of our library grant dollars as we talked about earlier this fall. We were going to be able to count the library grant dollars that we spent on the level books towards the amount that we had to utilize with the matching money for literacy grant. So Tracy and Chrissy, along with others, worked hard on the literacy grant, and with this library grant, we were able to purchase about $8,000 of books and then a little bit of furniture for the library as well. But we need to make sure that we actually did the spending authority for the grant for this year.
Then I'll have the literacy one next month.
Next month.
Mhm.
Okay, I was gonna ask about that. I move to approve resolution to accept additional grant funds, create budget and spending authority for the library grant 23-24, resolution 24-04.
Second.
Totally 10,000.
Sure, totally intend that.
Still second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Okay, we move to executive session under ORS 192.660.
Leave it on for a second.
2-D, oh, let me read that again.
Nope, it's still going.
Okay. We'll move to executive session, ORS 192.660-2D, to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations, and ORS 192.660-2I, to review and evaluate the employment-related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing. And we will go into executive at 7:41.
And who do you need here for that?
You and